The luck cloud, hiking and barney. You make it your own with your luck and timing on the luck cloud.
I mean, this is a great, great,
as often as I should.
Great section of LA. I mean, LA just, especially the Valley, has a shit ton of parks.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Yeah, so it's called The Luck Club, is the name of the podcast.
Okay.
So it's a meditation on luck.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like you're the kind of person that makes their own luck. I've seen you out there networking and hustling, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, hey, this town, you need it. Nobody's going to fucking hand you shit.
No, tell me about that.
Okay, I'm going to do a mark. Mark?
Is it working?
Yeah. Good to go. Let's do this. You ready, bud? Yeah, I mean, we got the air. We got the... I've seen some jets over here. This is the side where they do they hold it on the string.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then this is the drone park over here.
I had no clue that there was even such a thing as a drone.
Yeah, it's really kind of fantastic. Knowing, I mean, here's the great, LA's got everything if you dig deep enough.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of lucky, I feel like LA is just the kind of town that you can create your own luck in. Because it's just like, I mean, you know, it's definitely a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a gathering spot for all the scions of rich people where, hey, if they want to make a movie, I got some ideas for you.
Yeah, I mean, I attribute, and I tell people this too, and not that I believe I'm in any position to necessarily give advice.
No, but hey, that's the thing that fucking LA is great about is unsolicited advice.
LA is also great for a lot of people thinking that you are doing much better than you are, and then asking for advice, and then you're like, I don't know what to tell you. But hold for playing. What I usually say is it's a pretty even combination of luck and, as cliche as it sounds, who you know, which I've always thought was cliche even before I moved out here.
Yeah.
And then I discovered, like, really almost every opportunity I got was some combination of luck and somebody, like, recommending me or introducing me to this person or that person. It's really crazy how, when you trace it back, almost everything can be attributed to, like, some connection.
So I also, one of the things I've been kind of thinking a lot about, but I say is capitalize on coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you run into somebody who you're, I don't know, you know that's somebody or whatever, I'll say, for lack of a better term, not necessarily a celebrity and actor, but maybe a writer or producer. I saw actually Larry Karaszewski, him and Scott Alexander wrote like The People versus OJ, and they did Big Eyes and all that. I saw him over at Versailles, and I was like,
in Encino?
The one in on the west side.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, I went up and told him how much of a fan I was of his, and I've already been Facebook friends with him for years. Now I feel like if I needed a piece of advice or, something, I could creep into his DMs and be like, hey, remember when I saw you over at Versailles? And I think they had just inked the deal for The People versus OJ at that time or something. Yeah, he was there like with his agent or manager or somebody, and they felt like they were in a celebratory mood. So,
It's interesting, actually, that you say that, because about, feeling like now perhaps you could slip into his DMs or something. Because I find, this is another common myth about, like, all these celebrities and or rich people. And like you said, celebrities doesn't have to be actors, you know, writers and producers and
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
Being all of them being assholes, which there are their fair share,
Yes.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I've discovered that so many of them are just like super friendly and willing to kind of help out,
Yeah.
in a sense,
Yeah.
to a
To
certain
a point.
extent.
Yeah.
Certainly willing to give advice or, you know, talk over the phone or on DMs or whatever.
Yeah.
To another creative or somebody aspiring to do, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was surprising to me just because of the bad
Yes.
juju around before you come out here. And it's funny you bring up Versailles because that's one of the first like connections I ever had out here. Was a friend of mine from back in PA where I'm from. Her father was in the Vietnam War with Blake Clark, comedian, actor Blake Clark.
Oh yeah.
He's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. He was in Home Improvement, Boy Meets World, and all kinds of stuff. And so that was like one of my only like industry connections before I moved out. Because he was still really close with my friend's dad because they were like stationed together and they were like war buddies. And so
Wow.
he reached out to Blake and said I was moving out here and asked for connection. And then I emailed Blake and we exchanged phone numbers. And then literally like first week I was out here, we did a meetup and I asked where he wanted to meet up. He said Versailles.
Oh wow.
So, so it's kind of a
That's a full circle.
story to yours.
But also, I mean, but realistically, we met because of Andy Dick and Rick Shapiro.
Right.
I was Rick Shapiro's bitch boy for a period of time, and
Who hasn't been?
well, you know,
You haven't lived in Hollywood if you haven't been Rick Shapiro's bitch boy.
or somebody's bitch boy, you know, yeah. Yeah, because it's I mean, definitely Rick is the king of that. He definitely will find some young dude to drive him around and a young girl to suck his dick. You know what I mean? I hadn't even thought of it in those terms. Wow, that's hilarious.
Those are the two.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two extremes. If you got a car, you could drive Rick around. If you've got a mouth and you're a girl.
Andy too. Andy likes being driven around.
Yeah, see, right? This is the thing. Is like, my buddy Al Bomani, he's my friend, producer. He says like, oh, the best gigs that he's ever gotten to has been the guy that drives the headliner out to the fucking. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Having a car in LA, I mean, but also if you don't have a car in LA, you're in trouble already.
Yeah, for sure.
The people that don't drive, I will never understand how they can get anything done in this city.
Some folks have tried to justify it with me and saying like, oh well, when you add up like car insurance and a monthly payment and a doobie-doo, then you got it's more than if you just Ubered. The cost of Uber per month.
Yeah.
I mean,
possibly.
Like, maybe if you don't work every day.
Yeah.
Because if you're Ubering every single day to at least work and then maybe other places too, that really adds up fast.
It does. And I'd also say, like, there is the possibility that in an Uber, especially if you're taking the one with the groups, you might... I mean, okay, number one, the drivers are always going to try to fucking, like, sell you their thing that they're trying to do. And most of them, if they're Uber drivers, they ain't got shit going on. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, I'm not going to go to your fucking, whatever you think.
Improv troops to go.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you...
be in your Uber podcast that you're recording.
Yeah, I don't want to... I'm not going to download your free song from Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, didn't I see you on Santa Monica Pier trying to sell me a CD?
I did have one time... Oh, man, it's all coming apart here, coming together. I went to some crazy porn party, kind of... forget the name of the venue, but it was out kind of Koreatown. It was a porn hub where they were launching their, space or future-themed I don't know what it was. It was basically everything took place in the year 2069. Okay. Of course, it's Pornhub. I'm being a little bit careful about
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all right, bud?
I've been doing a hike every weekend. Once a week.
Oh, Barney, stop! Barney, stop it! Silly. No, it's him. Being a punk. What are you doing, silly? Come on, they were cute though. I get it. I get it. You're a little flirt. But that's not how we do it.
I wish I was Marty and had the self-confidence.
Yeah. Barney, come on. This is the 21st century. That's not how you get a woman anymore. Growling in her face. Maybe 20 years ago. But yeah, I was there, and I was taking an Uber back from whatever. And Uber pool. This girl gets in, and she did that thing where she's like, I was already in there, and she gets in, and she's like, what's this guy doing here? She said, you ordered a pool. Yeah. She's like, I didn't. And she's like, yeah, you did. So she's already in like this like weird entitled mood. Then this guy I'm going to mention they're both black. Just because I was like the invisible white guy almost in this situation, watching this interaction. And he goes, oh, I know you. She's like, no, I don't know you. Leave me alone. Oh, I know you, right? And they literally had this like, get the fuck out of my face. I'm not fucking talking to you. Why are you, like, and I'm just sitting there like, hey guys, Yeah, just trying to get home.
I'm just trying to get my Taco Bell.
So yeah, I feel like, for me, Uber, but the trying to network from an Uber has never been good. But the idea of having and I got a truck. I know people are going to be hitting me up to fucking move their shit and all that.
For sure.
Having a car in LA is, I would say, like having a superpower, but it's the bare minimum. It's the smallest superpower that you could have.
I remain shocked at how many people I know that don't have a car. And then, pandemic aside, obviously.
Yeah.
How much traffic there is. I'm like, how is there this much traffic?
Well, I mean, so I grew up here, so there was like, in my, whatever world, everybody got a car at 16. And I'd say it's a little bit of a generational thing because I'm a little bit older. I have friends that have kids that didn't want to get cars when they were 16. And I was just like, what world is this?
I agree that it's probably a decent chunk generational.
Yeah.
I think it's also a decent chunk locational.
Yes.
Because, as mentioned previously, I'm from a small town in PA, and there it was like, right a path, like you could not wait to turn 16.
Yes.
Get your permit like day of.
Yes.
And then like go out and like get some hunk of junk, or if you're lucky enough, your parents buy
maybe,
or whatever.
Or if you're lucky enough, you got the parents' fucking station wagon that had been aged out of use. Yeah. But yeah, no. But again, like that to me feels so. I'll just call it American. Like this is, and here is your like my first car was a. The 1963 Ford Fairlane station wagon. Wow. I got it for $400.
Wow.
It was a fucking.
What year was that?
That was 86.
My first car was, I guess when I turned 16, which would have been 2000.
Wow. Wow. Whatever.
2000. Easy math.
But mine is extra easy because mine's extra easy because I'm born in 1970, so I just have the math is,
I had to do it in 1992.
Okay. Wow. So, you were born after I graduated high school.
I know. Everybody thinks I'm older too. I think it's just because I'm a big guy. I think
there's that, and it's all
really beard.
That's. I think that. But you also there's something in your voice and in your demeanor. You give off mature vibes. I definitely give off the opposite vibes, which is fucking great for a 50-year-old in fucking LA.
I give off mature vibes, but I'm a child at heart.
Right?
So I guess 2008 would have been when I got my first car.
Okay.
2009. It was all my dad ever owned growing up was Buicks.
Yeah, well, you're from that part of the world.
Yeah, and I'm in that part of the world.
Yeah.
So I was brainwashed to love Buicks, which of course are very nice cars.
They can be. Here's the thing.
They're not like
You
great
got
to look at.
also there's that, but also I feel like there will be like a 3 or 4 year period. I'll say like 98 to 2002. You cannot buy a Buick from those years because there's something about the manufacturing where they're just beaters. But that's the thing you have to watch out with like American cars. It's like there'll be like a 3 or 4 year period where they're like, these are the best versions of these. Then there'll be a 3 or 4 year period where like, oh, they're going to be clunkers. This is why I stick with Toyota personally.
Sure.
Because also my mom came from Detroit, which is Motor City, and she had a Pontiac Le Mans all while we were growing up. And that thing fucking lasted forever and ever and ever. And then she got a Buick. That's hilarious.
Cool. Mine was, I forget what year. It was old. I think it might have been like a 1998.
Wow.
It was an old, I got it at this little like junk slot in Lebanon, PA. And I think I only spent $3,000?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was cheap.
Yeah.
Money I had at being 16, because I didn't get no hammer there.
No, I mean, I think the reason, and I'm trying to picture, it must have been, I got it like at an Auto Trader or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was working at Mickey D's, $3.35 an hour. But also I was selling weed.
It hasn't gone too much up since then.
No, it's true. It's been almost 50 years. But also I was selling weed, so I had some walking around money.
Hell yeah.
And this car lasted me 6-8 months, something like that, and then the transmission went out, and I was like, oh, fuck. But, it was a beautiful fucking boat that you took the corner and the whole thing went, whoa! Yeah. So I was pretending I was going to be a surfer and threw a surfboard in the back. And, but then, yeah.
Just put off that persona.
Yeah, well, I went a couple times, but just getting that thing to the beach was a lot. I wanted to ask, were there a lot of Amish around growing up?
The $1 million question.
Yeah, right?
From PA. Not in my particular neighborhood. It's funny, I was from a little town called Palmyra, which is like...
Oh, yeah.
So small. And it's like right next to Hershey, right next to Harrisburg, the capital of PA. And...
But I'll tell you, the people I typically know from Pennsylvania, you know where they're from. And I am not a fan of that city in general.
Oh, really?
Philly, yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling. It was either, you were either talking about
Philly or Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh, I found that the people that don't necessarily...
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they don't necessarily leave Pittsburgh the way they leave Philly.
Yeah.
Because I think Philly's just has a lot of toxicity there. It's
I
like...
have some friends that still live in Pittsburgh to this day that are also comics.
Yeah,
And
I think Pittsburgh is a place that you can do all the things you want to do.
And there's a lot more movies being filmed in Pittsburgh too, believe it or not. In fact, I read an article that Pittsburgh was supposed to be the original Hollywood at one point.
Yes.
Before Hollywood became Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thanks to the Black Mariah and fucking Thomas Edison, they were like, we need sunlight. Let's get out of this fucking steel town.
And I'm over here like, if Pittsburgh would have became Hollywood, it would have saved me a hell of a lot of money. I was already there.
I tell you though, even in the time since you've come here, the technology has changed in such a way that's like, yeah, you got to make your fucking movie on your iPhone now.
I know. Yeah.
Which is like, it's such a They put all of that effort into coming out here, right? Because of the sunlight, because of film and all that.
Yeah.
And ultimately the technology changes so fast that it wouldn't have really mattered anyways. But, once they got their roots in, it's like...
Just hang tight for a little bit.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I'm hoping to... Not that I don't love it out here. I do. I love the sunshine. I love the culture. I love that there's like 18 billion restaurants. I've been here for 6 years. One of them's a pandemic.
Talk about luck.
But I still have so many restaurants to try, and I love trying new restaurants. Obviously, when I was in PA, to get to, when I was performing comedy then, before I moved here, I had to drive to Philly.
Yeah.
Or to Pittsburgh, or
Yeah.
to New York. We're talking like 3-4 hour drives. And here it's like,
You can
any
hit-
half-mile radius in any direction,
Yeah.
you're going to hit a billion.
Yeah.
So I love all that. But my goal, if you didn't already know, is to become a writer. So I'm hoping that if I ever do get successful enough, not famous, just successful,
Yeah, Self-sustaining as a writer.
Self-sustaining.
Yeah.
then I can go live wherever I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have a
Somewhere cheaper and affordable.
Yeah, I have about a half a dozen TV directors. They're like old school TV director guys that, they make enough money on the 5, 6, 10 gigs they get a year that they can just come out, work for the period of time that they're here, and then go back to wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting model. But until you've actually got your fucking hook in the fucking mouth of the public, you got to fucking hang out in this dumb town.
You gotta hang out, you're right. In fact, circling real quick back to Blake Clark from earlier, that's exactly what he did. Now, he didn't move super far, but since I've lived here and known him, he's now moved somewhere up in Northern California.
Oh, okay.
He says, when I just get acting gigs, I'm going to drive down here and hop on a quick flight
Yeah.
for an hour.
Yeah.
Inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Easily deductible from, whatever they're paying him for the
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah.
He's much more comfortable and up there, and so.
Honestly,
makes sense.
for me, now that we're speaking we're putting our vision board to life right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I want to, because I really have nowhere else that I want to go. In essence, like I grew up in like Lakewood, Long Beach. So I love Southern California weather. I love the, even the traffic is its own nightmare. But once you understand it, it's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of assholes out here, but I grew up in it, so I'm used to it. I want to be able to fucking make enough money that I can live here, that I can afford to and buy a house. Ugh.
I know, it's such and I don't even need, I never needed a big house. In fact, I'm really happy with my apartment. I've been in the same apartment since I moved out here.
Wow.
6 years. I love it. It's a fairly decent size. And I keep thinking that even if I just had a house
You
that I
want it to
actually
be
owned, or was
yeah.
working to owning instead of just paying rent, that was the same size, maybe with a little garage, maybe with a little backyard.
Yeah.
That's the only two differences. I'd be totally fine with that amount of space.
Yeah. I'd say same here. It's a 3-bedroom house in North Hollywood, and I do have a yard and a driveway and some outdoor sports. But I have 2 roommates. But also, I would want to have. Always want to live with people. I'm a weirdo that way.
I think I would too. I would assume, fingers crossed,
Yeah.
hopeless romantic, that by the time I did get a house, I would also be in a relationship.
Have a partner.
At this point in time. Currently, I also have a roommate.
Yeah.
It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. My roommate is actually my best friend from Pennsylvania. We moved out here together.
Talk about lucky. Talk about lucky. Yeah, my luck just shifted because I got rid of a shitty roommate at the end of February, and the person that I have move in. Okay, I'm gonna give a little bit of his resume just because I feel like I totally lucked out. He's a kid. He's probably like your age.
Sure.
Maybe a little.
2 roommates.
Yeah,
One's the girl you mentioned earlier.
One's a girl,
Made you late.
Fernanda, who is a Brazilian dancer who I'm going to say rescued from a trafficking situation. She wasn't being sexually trafficked, but she was working for Ringling Brothers, and she's been on the podcast. She talked about it a little bit. She was working for Ringling Brothers, and when the plague happened, they just fucking stopped doing the circus, and they have this fucking crazy piece of property out in Springfield, Minnesota, and I guess it's just a bunch of trailers, and so she was living in the trailer, and she had to walk 100 yards to be able to use the restroom, and so it was, and basically because they were putting her up, and she wasn't even getting paid, she was just getting, basically they were just like,
Free living.
yeah, free living. They were making her work.
Living.
Yeah, they're making her work 60 to 70 hours a week, just like cleaning shit. You know, just kind of keep them busy and kind of like get them to pay for their fucking housing.
Yeah.
And so I was contacted by a mutual friend, and they're like, "Can you put her up for a week?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." And then this is when my other roommate, who I've talked about, he got he had some late stage alcoholism issues in my house, and he went into a coma. You know, it's been a dramatic goddamn fucking plague for me. So yeah, he was gone for 6 weeks he dipped out, and then they induced a coma. He still can't walk very well, so I gave her his room because I was like, can't live with this guy anymore. He still struggled a little bit. Let's go through the tunnel, the troll tunnel. I mean, let's see if there's a crazy person.
Pay the troll toll.
Yeah, let's see if there's a crazy person in here. There often is. Oh no, just regular old people. How's it going? And so she took his room. So lucky for her, he fucking. And again, like it wasn't an overdose. He'd just been drinking so much that he just triggered a bunch of organ failure. Yeah. Huh?
Is he okay now?
Except for he's having issues walking because when he passed out, I'll call it, he had passed out in an awkward position that caused some nerve damage to his feet and legs. So lucky that then I just had my open heart surgery, not last December, but the December before.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, here, I'll show you the.
Oh wow!
Isn't that crazy?
Holy smokes!
Yeah. So it was basically getting my kidney removed, but it was open heart because they had to push part of the tumor out of the kidney.
Wow.
So
Good for you.
yeah, I'm slow roll here. So then I got this roommate who was just a whatever. He reminded me of my brother.
Yeah.
And it was just like contentious, and he wasn't like bringing joy to the house. Now I've got Nolan Silverstein, who ran a studio in Boyle Heights called Drone Box for a period of time. His father is the mayor of Malibu.
Whoa!
Yeah. So I feel like I'm definitely upgrade. And he is great. He plays fucking guitar and he cooks, and he just wanted a place. So his parents kind of like, I don't want to say trapped him, but kind of like when it went down, they're like, come to Malibu, keep safe with your family.
Yeah.
And he has been stuck there for a year, and it was driving him crazy because he was living with his parents.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then, yeah, he
no
said,
one wants that, no matter how cool your parents are.
yeah, and how rich, and he basically, he fixed their diet. They were all just eating just not great food, and but he's also he's a porn actor.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck yeah, bring some of that fucking sensual energy into the house. Maybe we could change up some of our, I don't know, some of our incel energy that's been going around in this house for a couple years.
I have an interesting relationship with porn. Who doesn't?
Yeah,
love porn,
right. No, you're of the generation where you had hot and cold running porn your whole teenage
I know, right?
years.
We have to rent at the video store.
Yeah, I rented the video store or find a box in the forest, in the early 80s, and I had a little fort in my backyard, and we all just like, look at these, the Playboys and the Hustlers.
Bury them.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's a little meeting of the minds.
How's your owner? Oh, he's okay.
I mean, he loves small dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets scared when she sees big dogs.
Yeah. I feel like Barney's right at the edge of like anything bigger, and he'd be intimidating. He's still of their club.
All right.
Yeah, a good one. This is one of the reasons why I do a walking podcast, because you're never going to run into fucking dogs in a studio.
Oh, I love it. As soon as you said it, not to pigeonhole your podcast, but of course reminded me immediately of Hiking with Kevin.
Oh yeah, and you know,
which I love.
It's good and it's fun.
It's a fun time.
And
Hilarious.
he's turning it into a scripted series now.
I saw that. Yeah, because I'm friends with Danny on Facebook, who he wrote it with.
Oh yeah. Which, you know, hey, if people are out there wanting to support hiking podcasts,
I don't know how it's going to become a scripted series, to be honest.
Yeah, so here's what I imagine.
Supportive of it.
Here's what I imagine. It's going to be like a little bit like a Larry Sanders kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where Kevin's trying to get together and get the hike going, and then he'll have like scripted moments on the hike with the celebrity where something shitty or funny or silly happens.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then the typical fucking, you know, what's the little sound cue they have at the end of the Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Oh yeah.
And they zoom into the Robert B. Whitty. And that's if I was on the show, that's the way I'd go. Come on, bud. Oh yeah, so what you're talking about your
my love-hate relationship with porn.
Yeah.
Because I love porn, but because who doesn't?
Yeah.
But there's also a porn star with the same name as me.
Oh shit, yes.
Which I talk about
yes!
in my act. And it's actually, I mean, it's become a joke. It's one of my best jokes, I've been told. But it's also such an inconvenience. Because honestly, if you search my name, that's all that comes up. Is Asian male porn star Jeremy Long.
Wow.
And I'm like, how do I get to the top of these Google searches?
Well, you could do what John Daly did. So John Daly, the UCB comedian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know John.
And the search that was coming up was for John Daly, John Daly, who's the golfer, who's the rock and roll golfer. And he went out there. Hey, come here, bud. Oh, do you want? Okay, you don't want to say hi? Okay. And he went and he did a bunch of videos where he's like, John Daly is John Daly, and he would spell it like parentheses around the H. And so he was really fucking with the algorithm. And it was just him dressed up as John Daly, like being out in a field with a golf club, just doing drunk and crazy rants.
I love that.
Now maybe you could do. Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
It's an Asian male porn star.
So, yes.
So I don't want to get in trouble for dressing up as the
No,
Asian.
what you do is like Jeremy Long, something with young blah, blah, blah. And you could do like a Pornhub video where it's like one of those suitable, you remember James Gunn did the suitable for work porn?
Yeah.
You could do something like that where you're like either getting into a scene or about to get into a scene, and you know, that maybe even the actress could be like, I'm, you know, I thought this scene was going to be with Jeremy Long. I am Jeremy Long.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then, you know, then you got a comedy bit, and hey, if you get any energy from it, maybe Jeremy Long will be in your next funny video.
Yes, I love the enthusiasm. I love the idea. Might take you up on that. However, Jeremy Long will not be in my next comedy video as he is currently in jail.
Oh, what happened? What did he do? Of course, as the person that shares the name with him, you get notifications, I'm sure.
I think it's I knew it.
Is it some sex creep thing, or is it some...
I think it's a sex creep thing.
Oh, well, then yeah, probably he won't be in your next video.
Yeah.
But the good thing about him being in jail is you could go out and make fake porns using...
I'm all for it.
Jeremy Long's back, baby!
The longer he's in jail, the more his Google searches will decline.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily, there are a few Sean Humphreys out there. I'm sure at a certain point, but the groundswell will just come back to my name. It varies over time, right? There's a architect from England named Sean Humphreys. He spells his first name the other way.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So he comes up first. Then there's whatever. It's just it's a low grade common name, so that just exists out there. Yeah. But a few years ago, I was looking it up with my middle name, Sean Paul Humphreys, And literally, and I think the only reason it came up, the day before a mass killer was executed by the state of Arkansas or whatever, and his name was Sean Paul Humphreys. The first name spelled differently, but I was like, oh, well, there it is. There's my... And, like, reading the story, it just sounds like he was just a degenerate, fucking poor, white trash drug addict, and he went into a liquor store to rob it for drug money, and he ended up shooting 2 or 3 people and they gave him the death penalty, which is like, you know, it sucks. He had a sad life.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's if you kill somebody, I mean...
I never support murder, but, obviously in those types of situations, you always have to look at what drove him to that life.
Yeah, I think in general, there's a few real sociopaths out there, but in general, I think humans aren't organically built to kill other humans.
No. I don't believe that either.
Yeah. But you got enough drugs going through you, yeah. Well, also, I'm also against, in general, the death penalty.
Yeah.
Because, I think it's obviously used politically and maliciously.
Yeah.
But at least I got a story out of... No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That's so dark, so
I can
dark.
think of a few people I'd like to...
Oh, my God.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, even for a while, Trump.
Yeah.
I was, so upsetting.
In the words of George Carlin, we should bring back crucifixions.
Yes!
Upside down crucifixions.
Yes!
After Sunday Night Football. He's like, I'd
well,
broadcast it on IG.
It's interesting because I think, though, I do have a theory. That's interesting you bring up Carlin around that. I have a theory that if American presidents were treated the way we treat the leaders of other countries, they would not be fucking such schmucks.
Yeah.
They would be like decent human beings. But, they could get away with it because they'll just go in and fucking make somebody else look like shit. Yeah.
It's miserable.
It is. But, hey, as a couple of white guys, we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I don't like to complain because I am a straight white male.
Yeah.
But I do... I'll fight for any cause.
Yeah, same here.
For sure. That
Same
I
here.
believe in. And I do, study kind of the capitalist nation we call America. And how it's not working.
Well,
I guess is how I can phrase that.
The previous version of this podcast, the Mind Walk pod that I was doing with my buddy Michael, he's kind of, fading out right now. We used to have a song, Capitalist Dystopian Nightmare. And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, like nobody's in charge of capitalism. But, you got somebody like a Jeff Bezos who's definitely taking that ideology to a violent, psychopathic end game.
Yeah.
And it just makes it miserable for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I just hate that the selfishness of one person could cause such misery for so many people.
And not just, he likes to be, he's kind of a big target for many.
Yeah. But
it's really the full 1%. And this group of people who hold more wealth than literally the millions of other people in the country.
They have half of all the wealth in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Is 1%. Yeah, it's nightmarish, but it's also I will say this. If there was a way of bypassing all the protections that are afforded them in our culture. Yeah. I'm saying like there's legal and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
We know who are the people that are causing all the problems.
Yeah.
We could, if the...
we have the list, so to speak.
Yeah. The Forbes Top 500. There it is. They've compiled the list of the world's enemies for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really have. We just can't do anything about it.
Well, I think, though, talking about it, being transparent about it, having people kind of aware of their connection to those... good. It is a good morning. Uh-oh. Spoiling for a fight. Oh, adorable.
Yeah, it's super cute.
So adorable. Yeah, if we could I mean, the problem is...
That's why I do talk about it as much as I do.
Yeah, right?
I agree with you. I think just getting it out there and trying to help other people understand. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't want to talk about it. That's fine.
No, I love it
Or
because...
they find you annoying if you go on and on about it too
Why you gotta talk about Elon Musk like that? He's making a spaceship. He's making a spaceship. I like spaceships, right? I mean, it's like, and again, like the fact that they would. I mean, really, if you put an F in front of his name, Felon Musk. I also like to say his name anagrams to lone scum, but but it's like the hero worship of billionaires is really gross. And it's part of it, I think it's because people's low self-esteem. They think, oh, one day I'm going to be able to oppress billions with my money.
Yeah. It's this fantasy dream world of...
Let's go this.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't this great?
Yeah. It's nice just to see people out doing stuff.
Right? And again, like I realized it was a Saturday as I rolled up. I was like, there's a lot of people flying their planes out today.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you normally do it on a weekday?
I don't come like on the weekends. So typically I have a weekend hike set up with my buddy Joe, and he takes us out to deep Angeles Crest, like crazy. Like if we see another human being, it's astonishing.
They live up there.
Yeah, seriously, we definitely have found like campouts of hermits. We went to a mine once, and while we were on the way out there were two bucks rutting, like trying to take each other down. A little fuckface here chased them around, and I think he scared them enough to break them out. Like maybe they were like stuck, and he got them to break their rutting, and then. So it's the side of the hill, and he just chases them up the hill. I'm like, well, if he dies, he's going to die a warrior. He's at that point.
Oh, what a guy.
I don't want to, it's like...
What a survivor.
Yeah. I want him to feel that sense of adventure, because I feel like, you saw those little dogs that were like ready to fucking tear Barney apart. I'm like, yeah, it's because they've never chased elk or moose or whatever. They would know not to fuck with him. I don't know. But yes... Fucking...
Oh, you're the Barney.
Yeah, exactly.
We've heard tales of you.
Yeah,
we'll back off.
He's gotten into it with coyotes. Snakes is one of those weird things where I will see the snake and freak out, and he's like, just walks right past him. But I think that's the relationship that snakes and dogs have anyways. The snakes don't react to him, and the dogs don't notice him.
I'm cool if you're cool, buddy.
Yeah, let's not fucking start any shit. But I think that the idea of like just the politicians are owned, the media is owned, even the way in which we kind of like approach all aspects of our lives, the fucking money runs back up to them.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I mean, basically what it boils down to, and this is what my dad and I talk about all the time, is just. The government, the biggest issue is that the government no longer works for the people, which is what they were built for.
Yeah.
And if that was happening, then maybe capitalism would be working okay. Because there are benefits to capitalism.
Oh, sure.
It's not completely flawed.
But it's a beast that needs to be chained and caged and kept very docile and sweet.
So what we have currently is the government just working for this 1% and the corporate America and doing whatever they can to benefit those people that usually in turn makes our lives worse. And if we get any kind of benefit from any kind of policy passed or anything, it's really like a trickle-down effect. Like, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
Because really, who's really benefiting from anything that comes in and out of D.C. is...
Yeah, it's definitely bent in that direction. Okay, so I got a question / theory. So I've been thinking about this. So once certain classes of people get used to, let's say, slavery, right? Somewhat free labor. I'm not going to say entirely free labor because there's still, you have to still maintain the thing. But a slave is the most useful tool if you could figure out how to make them work. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because they're smart. It's better than a Swiss Army knife.
Sure.
So once a certain class of people gets used to having the labor done for them by other human beings, how do you shake that addiction?
Yeah.
How do you stop them from wanting to, like, it just feels like like a parasite. It's a parasitic relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
Like that movie Parasite.
What a great film.
Huh?
What a great film.
Wonderful. Looks kind of like a bird, a little bit.
What is it? Shards of Metal?
It's a Coca-Cola can, I think.
Okay. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I almost don't think it's possible. You know, it's funny because I've
too
read
many financial economic benefits from slavery.
Yeah. I've read so many studies about how, the richer you get, the more unhappy you get.
Yes.
How, like, really, the one study I read was like the cap is like
60,
I think they said like
80 grand.
Yeah,
something
80
like that.
grand is what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Like 80 grand a year, because it's like you're comfortable at that amount.
Yeah.
It's like you're comfortable, and you still have the luxury to explore other avenues and find what you're passionate. That's the problem. Is so many people in this country are just so conditioned by the American system that you have to go to college, right after high school, get a job right immediately. And then they're working so hard at their jobs, sometimes multiple jobs. Sometimes people, because of how low minimum wage is and things, have to work multiple jobs and 16, 18 hours a day just to make ends meet. That they don't even they don't even know what they're passionate about. They don't have.
Well,
they
you don't have the
haven't found that
opportunity.
yet.
You don't have the opportunity when you're.
They don't have the opportunity to
when
do
your
so,
back's
which
against
is
the
such
wall.
A sad thing.
Yeah,
I feel.
So interestingly enough, real quick, I want to ask. So is your dad politically aligned with you?
Yeah, my dad and I are. My mom and I are not.
Okay, but
I still love my mom.
No, of course, yeah, but this is interesting because I feel like so many of my friends that have family back east, there's a lot of misalignment of ideology.
Yeah, unfortunately, East Coast, my whole hometown, really the whole home state, is very red.
Yeah.
And very much, most of my family is very not aligned with me.
Yeah.
In fact, my dad is probably one of the only ones.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Do you think he's like he has to keep a little hush-hush about it around people?
No, not at all, actually.
Oh, good.
He's quite the opposite.
Oh, good.
No matter how much people stare at him, or
he wore his Bernie shirt or
him.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
He stands strong. He'll talk. He'll bring it up, even when I think, as much as I love talking about it, even when I think maybe now's not the time, he'll still bring it up.
Oh, fuck yeah! Was he? What was his gig? What did he do?
Oh, he's had so many gigs.
Oh, okay, there it is. That will definitely open you up to the idea that there's more to this world.
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing. And him and I have talked about that a lot too. Is he used to be very much part of the system in the sense that I don't know if he was necessarily Republican, but he was not nearly as open-minded politically as he is now. He was a Christian.
I was going to say,
we went to church when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was probably early teens where, we decided, no, we don't want to do that anymore, church.
Yeah.
And then he started branching out. My dad is one of the smartest people I know, especially when it comes to things like religion, politics, philosophy, that kind of stuff. He really got me into those things.
I'd also say, though, you strike me as being, whatever, pretty smart, too. I always like to tell other people they're smart because it makes me sound smart. Whatever.
I know smart people.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, whatever. I got my brains from my mom.
Uh-huh.
And she's a crazy person.
Sure.
I think she was autistic and all that stuff. And so I had to struggle out of the kind of the madness of having a good brain rather than like just being able to be smart and capable. I had to kind of like restructure my life.
Handicap in a sense.
Yeah, to be like, it's okay to be smart. I don't also have to be a crazy person. You know?
A little bit of crazy is fine.
Well, yeah, and also now, if you can make money on your craziness, fucking whatever, fucking come out of the closet.
Better now more than ever,
Yeah. But yeah, oh good. So it's, I mean, just the way you're talking about it, I was like, was he some kind of labor leader or something? But
who, me or
your
my dad?
Your dad
Yeah.
having multiple jobs is kind of the same political essence.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. I mean, I think, so he loves music. And when I was born, and before I was born, he was a DJ at a local radio station. And I know that he loved that.
Wow.
But then, from my understanding, that was not conducive to raising a child when I was born. So then it was all over the place. He was a truck driver for a while. He worked in different warehouses. He worked at the Hershey Medical Center for a while in Hershey, PA, my hometown. And coincidentally, that was extremely beneficial. I know he didn't like that job and ended up leaving, but it's beneficial to me at that perfect time in my life. Talk about lucky.
Mean, yeah, right.
I went to Penn State College, and any direct blood descendant of a Hershey Medical employee got 75% off tuition.
That's amazing. Again, like it's interesting how it's almost like these like lucky, but like it's almost like your father kind of created an aura to protect you. So back to my crazy mom, talk about luck. I was huffing Scotchgard one day, and my heart stopped.
Wow.
My mom was an RN, and she was able to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and bring me back from the grave. So yes, luckily I had my robot support system brought me back to life. You know, I mean, again, I say that because growing up, I used to or after I kind of got out of the house, I was like, oh, you know, robot mom and sad dad. My dad was always very melancholy and sad, but my mom was like, I'm going to raise you according to the book. I'm like, ugh. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think we have these things where it's like maybe your dad didn't know or understand at the time that was going to happen, but it's like, oh, here's some serendipity of the moment, which is...
I think you may be right. And I didn't know either, because certainly I was looking at other colleges as well. Penn State's just kind of the local big college for Pennsylvania.
And it's a good school.
It's a good school.
Yeah, it's
for sure. I don't regret it, but that certainly made up my mind, so to speak.
Yeah.
I was looking at other ones, I'm like, okay, well, I guess Penn State it is.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I only wanted to go to film school when I finally got my head out of my ass. I was in my late 20s.
Yeah.
When I finally got sober, or I got off of various things and was like, I'm focused. I'm going to go to college. And I applied to SF State.
Okay.
And UCLA. Both in-state, right? So that would have been cheaper tuition.
Sure.
San Francisco State was offering me like $350 a semester as a grant.
Okay.
And UCLA was offering me $3,000. I was like, you know what? I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
it would have been nice to get out of fucking Southern California, but I'm glad I did. I mean, UCLA was a fantastic school to go to.
Yeah. And when did you live in an apartment, or at home, or
because
on campus?
Because I was already an adult, I had I got an apartment in Venice, of all places, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was the best.
That sounds great.
And I'd ride my bike from Venice to Westwood. Probably some of the best shape I've been in my life.
That's one feature of college that I missed out on, that I regret a little bit. I don't regret it enough to go back.
Want to redo it?
For a master's or anything else. But I commuted because I lived close enough to campus, of course, which certainly saved me a lot of money. That part I don't regret. But
that's hilarious. I don't regret the savings.
I don't regret it enough. But to see that college life, even UCLA, like you talk about, now that I live out here, whenever I go to Westwood, and I just see that kind of community of people in the UCLA area doing their thing, and I'm like, that's probably a blast, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
The campus life, and everybody just being all together and throwing parties. And
it was
stuff.
interesting. I did go to a lot of parties and hang out, and so it ended up being good for me in the long run because I hadn't quite 100% dealt with my addiction issues at that point. But because I was the older fucking dude, and I think I was probably even still selling weed at that point if I know me. You know, I was selling weed to all the fucking college kids.
There's still nothing wrong with weed, obviously, as we both know.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally fucking legal, at least where we live.
Yeah.
Which is like, fuck the rest of the world. You know, like, why are they so stupid? What? It's just. I'm going to use the R word. It is retarded, and I'm using it in the sense of like somebody who is not developmentally aligned with the world.
The literal legal sense of the word.
They are behind. They've been, but yeah. So I was only kind of like I would dip in, but because I'd had my hardcore party years behind me, it was nice to not have to fucking like really commit to fucking, you know, start partying on Friday night and crawl home Sunday morning.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Did have a lot of friends that was the deal.
Sure. I still know people like that.
Yeah, well, seriously. But it's funny because I ended up, I was going to say, my last year I was commuting to UCLA because I took a year off to have a big crack and meth binge.
Oh, no. Two that I've never tried, never will.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, you also strike me as the kind of person that doesn't need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I love weed for the creative reasons and, and the calming and the medicinal effects. And if I really want to have a good time, I'll take a little shrooms or some ecstasy. That's about as far as I'll go.
Yeah.
But I don't go near the hard stuff.
And I think that's as far as like kind of like developing kind of like whatever human consciousness and opening oneself up to the world. Those are the drugs for it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know whatever, they're much more, or I'll say organic and less harsh on the body, except for maybe the ecstasy. But if you get good ecstasy, it's not going to be hard on your body.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, having a crazy mom and being raised in the boring ass burbs and like not having my ADD and maybe my autism diagnosed. I mean, the fact that I went to meth,
self-medicated,
is like I 100% had ADD.
Yeah,
and it was like that's what I did. I was like, oh, the world makes sense now. You know, I was like, fuck,
right?
You know,
yeah.
But then of course it turned into I'll just say the pleasure of crack rather than the like crack is like self-medication.
That's it almost, you know, it circles back. Your story circles back to what you were talking about when you found that guy on the death penalty with the same name as you.
Yeah, right. That could have been me
for the drug. Yeah, because it's like, and what I said when you brought that up was, you gotta, you know, obviously she shouldn't have killed anybody, but he didn't want to kill anybody.
But at least see your hand. Bad. You killed people. You're a bad
like,
boy.
What resorted him? Like for you, it was undiagnosed because we have such a flawed medical system.
Well, but I'd also say to defend the medical system just a tiny bit, but it is totally monstrous. It was the 70s and 80s, and there was a weird like super push for the Ritalin on a lot of kids, and then just certain areas where it was like not anything at all.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I was in an environment that mainstreamed a lot of developmentally different kids. So I was in a class with, I'll just say retarded, but you know, developmentally delayed kids, and me, who I eventually started being sent away to other advanced, you know, like they had mentally gifted minors and gifted and talented education. So they had us together. It gave me an affinity and a love for these kids that were a little bit different or slow or whatever.
Which I think those types of people should be cherished more.
Oh, and also led in the classroom, because now we put them in a place where it's like they're only hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
It makes everybody like...
They don't get to experience the others, and the others don't get to experience them.
Yeah. So, you know, it's complicated, but I could have used some... But I found the meth, baby. You know.
But that's what I'm saying. Is what, you know, whether it's some kind of self-medication or even, you know, some kind of cure for depression, which is self-medication. What led these people that do these horrible things, probably because of the drugs, of course, to even take drugs in the first place.
Yeah, some pain.
More often than not, it's the American system.
Yeah, some kind of pain that's going unresolved.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And again, like, the American system is also the idea that if a child could be brutalized by any fucking adult.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know,
fucked up people.
Yeah, their parents, their foster parents, teachers, fucking priests, everybody out there wants to fucking, you know, diddle children. I'm like, oh, it's like, fucking, why would you want to? But they were diddled when they were kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, it becomes this
Yeah,
fucking...
the diddlers, or, you know, the pedophiles, whatever they are, they have their own problems.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, and I'm never going to condone it. But what is that person going through?
Yeah.
It's hard for people to understand and have any amount of sympathy for people like that.
No, so this is such an enjoyable. I love this talk because you have such a progressive view about all of these things.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're willing to talk about it, because I think sometimes I'll, you know, get to areas with people and they will just make a judgment. This is like, these people are bad, or this is the way this is. And I don't think, I would say, I even have empathy for fuckface Trump. Hear me out.
Sure, I'll hear it.
So
I'll hear anything.
So he, when he was a child, his first big trauma that is known about him, and of course his parents were fucking monsters. We can't discount that. They were real mean fuckers. They were not nice people. His oldest brother died of fucking alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way that he could escape from how much assholes they were.
Sure.
So he went and saw West Side Story. And he loved those sharks, jets. And he went to Chinatown because he wanted to get a switchblade so he could do a dance routine like the sharks and the jets.
Uh-huh.
His father saw that switchblade, sent him to fucking military camp, just right away. Just already he has ambitions for art or beauty or something maybe not even masculine, and they have to beat that into him.
Yeah, of course.
So that's his first big trauma. The second one was when he got out of Walton School. He wanted to put up a Broadway play.
Yeah.
And his father gave him $1 million to put on this play, and it fucking failed miserably.
Yeah.
It didn't make it to Broadway. It was off Broadway, off, whatever. It failed miserably. Yeah, I mean, so
held in an alleyway with a couple fold-out chairs.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you spent $1 million on? I love that. That's hilarious. And his father was basically like, look, stop being a fucking gay or whatever it was, or whatever masculine abuse he was giving him. Put on a suit and you go sell fucking real estate. You go be a developer like your pops was.
Yeah.
So he's got these two where he wanted to be an artist. He wanted to be involved in the arts.
Yeah.
And his parents crushed that feeling in him. And then look at it. He's the greatest performer of all time.
I know.
He performed himself.
He finally achieved what he, in a sense.
Yes.
But he's still not happy.
Oh no, he's totally unhappy because he's not coming at the pure performance of it. He's coming at it from this fucking broken part of himself.
I think I love how you broke it down, because, you know, obviously the people who defend Trump are purely defending Trump politically.
Yes.
As of the last 4 years, when obviously he's had a whole life before
he's the bully that they always wanted themselves to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Hearing the story you shared with me makes me think he's the ultimate epitome of a high school bully.
Oh, shit.
All grown up. He's like, this is the person who messed with you but was secretly either gay or
whatever,
was into that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Sweet artist, creative type.
And it got beaten out of them. How many movies do you see where the high school bully goes home and the dad's a total drunk asshole who's like, you can't be a fucking...
Yeah. I mean, it's like he's the 80s trope that he wanted.
Yeah.
He's like some kind of weird...
He's the ultimate 80s trope. And so from that perspective...
That is so hilarious.
I sympathize with him and with that when you put it that way.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think that what happened with that made myself and so many people hate him even more, because by no means was he a good person before he became a president.
Yeah, let's go this way.
Oh, we're kind of, yeah. And, you know, I didn't like him then either. But it's like, all right, I think... You know, the human level that I try to see everybody on, that I was explaining to you earlier when we were talking about even child molesters and things, as crazy as that is.
Come here, bud.
I'm more willing to see him on that human level before he rules the country.
Yeah.
That's when he took it too far,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So it's like I sympathize with his backstory and know that everything that he does that we hate also comes from pain
Yeah.
from his life. But when you literally get the most powerful position in the country and then take that pain out on everybody, that's when it goes a step too far.
It's like you finally got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now fucking lay back and give yourself a hand job. Fucking you did it, bro. That's the thing that really, truly, besides all the monstrosity that he, the core, the thing that really just like makes me so angry and sad and just like is that he couldn't even enjoy being president.
Yeah.
He couldn't just fucking sit back and go like, I'm king of the world,
Yeah.
Mom!
Take that, Dad.
Yeah, even, but I'll tell you this.
He has all of the security guards put on a version of West Side Story for him in the Oval Office.
Let's do it. Here's, I went down to Chinatown and got these switchblades for you guys. Yeah, oh my God, that would be hilarious. Right? That'd be very cathartic.
Yeah, yeah.
But he couldn't do that because also he could at that point he couldn't allow himself to look like a fool.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to being a comedian is allowing yourself to look
100%.
like a fool.
100%.
Get up on stage and be like, I'm a big dummy. Ba, ba, ba.
Laugh at me and my sadness.
Yeah. I feel like because I'm going to be anti-president no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Because I think it is. As I will say about, hey, bud.
Because none of them are I love Bernie so much.
So much.
But that doesn't mean I agree with 100% of what he's saying.
But at least he would have been a decent human being in an indecent office.
Right.
And that's the thing I look at is like, I used to say this thing about popes. Everybody loves this new fucking pope, right?
Right.
But he's still a fucking pope who are fucking murderers and molesters.
Yeah.
And they're the top of the fucking greatest
They're
criminal
all
organization.
politicians. They're all, like when I was supporting Biden just to get Trump out of there, obviously what everybody goes to is, oh, well, you're a Democrat and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten arguments with people and told them, listen, I see your perspective on some things as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm not related to either party, and I also do not support Biden. I'm not really happy with anything he's done so far.
No. But a bigger point than that is it is a terrible office, and people that have ambitions for it are suspect.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, by default.
By default.
Yeah.
And like I also would say like he at least cracked a little bit of an old man smile when he got elected.
Yeah.
But I don't see any joy in that motherfucker's face.
No.
I don't see him fucking like he is such a political monster that he grimly walked into the office to do his job.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ah.
Yeah.
Gross.
And he preached student loan removal.
And he's not
even, and that's something that can be done through an executive order.
Yeah.
There's very few things that the president can do without going through House and Senate, and the student loan debt forgiveness to a certain extent can be done. So he could have done it whenever he wanted, like he preached about.
Wait, so he lied to us to get the job? Oh, man.
And also, that's such an argument. I cannot stand this argument when I talk to people. Well, I had to pay off my student loan debt.
Yeah, good for you. You're very ambitious.
Universal health care, the same thing.
Yeah.
And I go, why are you so against progression? Like, if everybody had that frame of mind of, oh, I paid off my student loan debt, why should they get a free pass? We would still have slaves.
Sure.
Because why get rid of slavery? Why abolish slavery? It's not fair to all the other slaves that had to be slaves in the past.
But also, I agree with you.
Why work towards a cure of cancer?
I had cancer.
Why should we work towards cancer cures?
It made me stronger.
That's not fair to all the other people who've had cancer and died from it.
No, but I will
That's
say...
not fair.
I will really say the idea that they do want slaves.
Yeah.
They really do. And they want people to be so debased that they feel more powerful than them.
Yeah.
If you're anything but a straight white male, you're like, you don't deserve anything.
Yeah.
Get over here and polish my boots. And it really, but again, it's like whatever the meme, the viral, not meme like on the internet, like a a thought meme, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever that meme is that makes white supremacists think they deserve a slave.
Yeah.
Or that other the oppression. It's just like that's the thing. But again, like I was like, hey, if they just had to fucking eat a fucking 5 grams of mushrooms, maybe they'd change their mind.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're going to the fucking mushroom camps.
They're the ones that we need to self-medicate.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is they're self-medicating with corporate medicine.
Right.
McDonald's.
Right.
Sugar, soda.
Anything that makes them more angry.
Yeah.
And more hating other fellow humans, fellow Americans. That's the problem. So many people think the fellow Americans are the problem and not the government, which is such a brainwashed. Really, what it is that so many people
But it's the corporations.
It's the corporations.
It's really the corporations. The government just happen to be the cat.
Well, the government is the middleman that supports them rather than us. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So they're just as much to blame because they're fueling the corporations and their power.
Oh yeah.
But
because they can't not fucking drink their 2 liters of Coca-Cola every day.
I call it so many people that defend capitalism, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're using things that they've heard throughout their life that they are just regurgitating, that they believe to be true, because they don't really have any real ideas of their own.
Well, they've never read any real ideology.
They haven't, and I call it a passive ideology.
Yeah.
They've just kind of picked this up throughout their life, and that's now what they say to other people, that's what they believe in, but they don't know what they believe in.
So there's this idea, thought-terminating cliche. Have you heard this?
I haven't.
Oh, man, this is such... When I heard... Like, there's some woman, I want to say she was a sociologist or something like that. She came up with it a few years ago. But she was talking about how in our culture there are all of these thought-terminating cliches that actually end the discussion, where there's no way to get past these thought-terminating cliches.
Yeah.
And these people live in those thought-terminating cliches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, she's like, it's like being, for me, it's like seeing this holy grail.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's just the way it always been, or make America great. These are like fucking goddamn cliches that stop your thought in the track, because there's like, she says like, there's no entry point to kind of like turn over the argument around that.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And Make America Great Again would be one, which is what fueled his campaigns.
Yeah.
These people who have these passive ideologies hear that and they're like, I'm on board no matter what.
No matter what. Because I would make... So here's an interesting thing. Have you watched the... is it Adam Curtis documentary Hypernormalization?
I haven't.
Okay, it's fantastic. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
So it's about how in 1974 two things happened in America that have put us where we're at today. Mm-hmm. One of them was Kissinger doing some hostage negotiations, but this was prior to the. I can't remember what but that was the international aspect of it. But the domestic aspect of it is when they gave fucking Donald Trump the giant fucking loans to rebuild New York City, because they were non-political. He didn't have any political, like he didn't have to answer to the city to do the things he needed to do.
Interesting.
So, in essence, the thing that destroyed America was put into action by Trump himself.
Wow.
So when he says "Make America Great," he's basically saying, go back to a time when I wasn't the guy who... but again, he doesn't get that. He doesn't have the subtlety of mind to even understand that. But
wow.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, watch that. It's such a dense documentary. It's hard for me to actually explain the details of it.
It's hard to put it into words.
Yeah, but really, basically these two things happened in 1974 that was the beginning of Times Square being corporatized.
Yeah.
Corporified. It just turned into a corpse.
Yeah. To this day.
Yeah. But to me, it's no accident that corpse and corpse are, there's death over there.
The other argument I don't like that so many pro-capitalists, not necessarily pro-capitalists, but indoctrinated capitalists believe and argue with is like when you bring up like any form of socialism or communism. Oh, well, people are just going to sit around, play Xbox 6 hours, and it's like people aren't programmed to do that. People are programmed to contribute and help out. I mean, we're in the same industry. I'm sure you've been on unemployment, your fair share, just like me.
Yeah, it's the best.
And we know more people. Really, this pandemic is like the great equalizer because more people have been on unemployment than ever
just
before.
The industry, yeah.
So if you've been on unemployment, you know for a fact, like me, that the first 2 weeks are great.
Yeah, it's like having you're getting a vacation in this freelance fucked up world.
But then after 2 weeks, you're like, I need to get the fuck out of here and do something. I need to go write a script. I need to build a fence.
Yes.
I need to and it's like this conditionality of
I'm gonna let him in the truck.
Okay,
here.
that we're just programmed to come home and like that's a direct result of capitalism, which people don't understand. Yeah. That's the only escape we have. That's the time where we make it. Yeah, the weekend where you go out and drink, or where you just sit at home and play video games. The reason we do that is because we're working 12, 14, 16 hours a day, 5 or 7 days a week. It's like if we weren't having to do that, there'd be no need for that. People aren't automatically conditioned to just sit around all day.
I agree,
and do nothing.
and I also think that in a weird way, the new conditioning about playing video games for 6 hours a day, that is a corporate conditioning.
Yeah.
That is like, oh, you might one day be able to play video games professionally.
Yeah.
You stupid teenager.
If you're good enough at it, and you know all the...
So it's like, play our corporate fucking mind candy.
That's true for sure.
Yeah. So then again, I think also the idea that people think that other people are lazy is like, why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
Let them be fucking lazy. They will not get the things that you have in life because you're going for them.
Right.
You're trying. You're ambitious.
And even if we went into some kind of socialist or communist society, if somebody really stayed that lazy, they wouldn't be a contributing member. There's things against that.
Yeah, and also I will say, when I look at the way corporations are structured, the fucking CEOs are the laziest.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have created a system where they don't have to do shit.
Exactly.
The higher up you get,
you're just signing a couple documents.
Fucking Bezos is retiring. He hasn't done shit in fucking years.
Yeah.
He set up his weird machine.
He's like, I'm so tired of literally raking in this cash. It's exhausting.
My signature signing, I've got carpal tunnel. but it's like it is, and anybody who worries about another person's laziness, to me, is the pure low self-esteem that's created by the corporations, that I'm not good enough.
Yeah,
it's something that's implanted in their souls.
That's what the corporations and the capitalist society kind of
make you
feed this into us, where it's one of two things. It's the low self-esteem that causes it, and or a combination of this, just like, this is my time where I'm finally controlling my life, and I get to just sit here and zone out and watch TV.
I tell you, I've been on disability this last year. It has been wonderful. But it's also like, I've developed my comedy. Yeah. I wrote a memoir. Amazing. I've started like just doodling again. Like, started doing my dream journals. Like, now that my back isn't up against the wall, and I feel like I had to fucking like hustle a producer to get a gig for whatever, some bullshit TV show. Yeah. It's like all of this stuff that's been flowering in me for years has a chance to bloom.
100%. It circles back to what we were talking about earlier. This, like, how so many people do have their backs up against the wall, as you just described, and literally don't even have time to develop what they're passionate about or find what it is that they're good at and what they like doing. And that's what you have the time to do now.
Yeah, thanks to both the pandemic and the fact that I sacrificed a kidney to capitalism. This was wonderful. This was so fucking good. I feel like I'm going to just put a soft little sell out here. Once things open up, we should do a podcast where we eat dinner and we talk fucking politics.
I love it.
Go out to some fancy restaurant.
I'm here for it.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like we both have so much more to say.
So much more to say, number one. I also love the idea, because I do have these mics, of just like, we could just go go to Versailles
Yeah.
and enjoy the meal and maybe like make little comments on the meal, but be in the political mindset while we're there.
I'm
because-
all for a podcast out in the wild, wherever it may be, and not just sitting in the studio.
Yeah, that's what I realized when I was trying to start putting this together, developing it. I was like, I know there's ways of doing it. And then a friend of mine turned me on to these task cams.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it! Ah! It cracked the code because literally sync it at the top. And yeah, we're going to have that in the background.
Yeah.
So what?
A little bit here and there.
But
a plane or two.
these pick up voices so well that it's like, and even let's say, even if we're eating, if people, I mean, maybe at that point we'll have a producer who can edit out some of the chomp, chomp, chomp sounding. But
leave the chomp chomps in.
Yeah, see, that's the way I feel. It's like that puts you in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's stop this because we keep going forever and
I
ever
know.
and ever.
As I was about to say, I don't know if you ever do repeat guests or not.
Yes, we will.
I'm
Absolutely.
around whenever you want.
Absolutely.
Before the pandemic's after the pandemic's over.
Absolutely. It's so funny because I've in the pandemic I have done like 4 or 5